I saw a post the other day as I was scrolling through LinkedIn about belt keepers, these things right here. And the post was about the importance of using these things. It was talking about getting into a fight and losing your duty belt because you didn't have or you forgot to use these keepers. And the purpose of the post was to get the reader to understand that in our line of work, we can't cut corners when it comes to our gear, to our equipment, to our keepers, because these little things right here, these keepers play a big part in our safety, right? And I like this because the thought process, right? This post, it proves, or at the very least reinforces what I preach, and that is that everything that we do on duty, on shift, affects our mental health, affects our wellness, even these tiny little keepers. You ready?
You are now listening to the Just Corrections podcast with your host, William Young.
Can we just get this show on the road?
Greetings, my fearless frontliners, my fellow guardians of the galleries. I'm William Young, and this is Just Corrections. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a current, aspiring, retired, or soon-to-be retiring correctional professional, and you're looking for correctional content that is informative, engaging, that is intended to educate and elevate the profession, then you are in the right place. If you're looking for war stories from somebody who only lasted a couple of weeks in the profession, this is not going to be that. And before I go any further, I got to thank the members of the JCP, the Just Corrections Patreon community, for sponsoring the video, supporting the channel. Without you, I could not create the content that I create. I love you. I appreciate you. And if you're watching, you're checking this out, and you want to contribute, you want to support the channel, I'll throw a link in the description below. Or if you'd rather just buy a super thanks, you can do that by hitting the little thanks button that is right below me. I have officers argue with me all the time about the job and the stress, and they say that the job hasn't changed them a bit. They say that they are exactly the same human being they were before working in a jail, and I call bullshit, right? And this post about keepers is going to back me up. See, everything that we do inside has life or death consequences, right? Everything. Don't believe me? Don't care. They do. And because we work in an environment where everything is life or death, it changes us. It weighs on us even if we don't recognize it. Take these keepers, for example. Here's a post about the importance of these tiny little things and why. Well, it's because these tiny little things have a big responsibility, right? They keep your belt in place, your duty belt. You know that your duty belt, the things that holds all your tools and your gadgets. And I guess some of you are wearing a vest right now, but just try to follow along. Actually, I do. I want to know, what are you guys wearing? Vests, belts, what? Drop it in the comments below. You could just put belt or vest, whatever you want. Engage. Let's go. So you have all of these things on your belt, right? This is my belt, right? I have a radio holder right here. I have some cuffs. Yeah, the cuffs are right here. What else do I have here? I have my hook knife. I got my hook knife right here. I have a key holder. I got my flashlight holder, right? All of this thing, right? And all of these are important. And I've placed them all in a certain spot for a reason. And these keepers right here, they keep my belt on my body. Now, why is that important? Why do I need my belt with all my tools to stay on my body? Well, because I don't want them taken. If I lose control of my tools, then bad things can happen. In fact, if an inmate gets a hold of my belt, my duty belt, they can do all sorts of bad things with my equipment. The keys, the radio, they could cuff me to something and then beat me to death. So yes, terrible things can happen if I get my tools taken. And I thought about all of that, right? I think about all of that when I step into a unit. Where am I standing? Who is walking behind me? What did they just say over the radio? Is my flashlight charged? Hey, real quick, I want to know how many of you are carrying a flashlight, right? That's a little heftier, that's a little bigger than you're officially supposed to be carrying, so you can use it to defend yourself if you need to. How many of you out there are wearing a composite toe boot or maybe even a steel toe boot, which is probably against policy, and why? Do you see where I'm going here? Every decision related to our job we make with the worst case scenario in mind, and then we don't think that has an impact on us, on our brains, on our relationships. It does. It all does. That's why wellness is so important, right? That's why you have to take care of yourself. That's why we need to tell folks that they're going to change the way that they think and feel, because they have to survive. Look, that's why we train you to change. These belt keepers, these little strips of nylon or leather or whatever, could be the difference between you going home and you going to the hospital or even the morgue. And look, I know I get preachy. I know I go a little overboard, but I need you to understand what you're up against so you don't get burned out, so you don't lose yourself in your service. So that's all. Guys, if you get nothing else out of anything that I see or my presentations or anything that I write, I want you to understand this. The job, corrections, the profession, the environment changes the way that you view and interact in the world outside out of uniform, right? And that change operates on a spectrum. It could be okay to where you're just sort of situationally aware, or it could be extremely intrusive where you self-isolate in the name of officer safety, but in reality you're just hiding because you're just hyper paranoid about everything that's happening around you, right? And that's what I want you to understand. And that's the main obstacle that I run into and that you need to understand so you can move forward, so we can actually take this wellness initiative forward, right? The environment that we work in, things as simple as a little belt keeper, to us, we view as a matter of life and death. And that weighs on us, that weighs on our head, that weighs on our heart, and that affects our household. And once we realize that, once we understand that, once we put a label on the thing that we're up against, then we can defeat it. All right, guys, that's all. Thanks for hanging out with me today, for listening, for watching this episode of the podcast. Do me a favor, subscribe to the show. Follow the show on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you prefer. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think I have an X account, but I don't do a whole lot on there. But I want you to get involved. I want you to engage. I want you to leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts. Let me know where your head is at. Let me know where your heart is at. Let me know what you've seen. I do not want to do this inside of an echo chamber. I want to do this because I want to hear your comments. I want to grow community. So give me some real input there, because those are the things that are going to move this initiative forward. They're going to push the needle forward. Guys, I am only one voice in the movement. I'm not the movement itself. You are the movement. The Just Corrections podcast, Just Corrections YouTube channel. If you're interested in supporting the show, please consider becoming a member of the JCP Just Corrections Patreon community. There's a couple of different tiers, different options, so check that out. The link will be in the description below. Don't forget to check out the books, The Nothing That Never Happened and Train to Change. And I am a terrible marketer, because I left my only copy of Train to Change in my bag at the office. And so I don't have it. So you're just going to have to imagine what it looks like, look it up on Amazon. And if you want to bring me out to speak or present at your event, send me an email at justcorrections.booking@gmail.com. All right, guys, that's all I got. Until next time, be smart, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll talk soon.